نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله أكرمه بالنبوة وجعله رحمة للعالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك وحافظ سرك ومبلغ رسالاتك، وصل على وسيه وأخيها أمير المؤمنين وعلى الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين، وصل على سبتي الرحمة الحسن والحسين سيد شباب أهل الجنة، وصل على أئمة المسلمين علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف القائم المهدي حججك على عبادك وأمنائك في بلادك صلاة كثيرة دائمة. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته، ولا هما إلا فرجته، ولا سقما إلا شفيته، ولا عيبا إلا سترته، ولا رزقا إلا بسطته، ولا خوفا إلا أمنته، ولا سوءا إلا صرفته، ولا حاجة هي لك رضا ولي فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان، وبلغنا شهر رمضان، وأعنا على الصيام والقيام وحفظ اللسان وغض البصر، ولا تجعل حظنا منه الجوع والعطش. Congratulations, as we already started this holy month of Rajab, followed with Sha'ban and finally Ramadan. Last week I started this discussion, which is very fundamental in the Quranic passages, the discussion of al-qalbu fil Quran. I mentioned that there are 134 verses using the term qalb or qulub, and also 16 verses the word fu'ad or af'ida. So altogether almost 150 verses in the Quran deal with human heart. And we discussed that it's not just cardiovascular system, the organ that is pumping the blood day and night and provides us with physical life. Although this heart, the physical heart, is very important, we cannot live without heart. We can live without hand, we can legs, without eyes, without ears, but nobody can survive without heart. And we had a very inspiring orientation by Dr. Ajur last Sunday here, that he was talking about that physical heart. And very important advices: watch your blood pressure, your cholesterol, your sugar. If you are smoking, quit smoking, no cigar, no hookah, no vaping, any kind of tobacco, just stop it. And take the matter of exercise seriously. He suggested Mediterranean diet, except the wine. Except that, everything else was advisable. And of course, losing weight, and if necessary, taking a EKG, and the advice from your doctor. So I was a good listener to Dr. Ajur, and that was the very, very summary of his orientation. I don't know if somebody asked you after this khutbah about the summary of my sermon, how much you are ready to provide. But it is important that even in our jurisprudence, heart, as long as heart beats, the life continues. Even somebody has motor demag, for example, brain death. It's a controversial issue that if a brain is absolutely dead, person is dead, There are some maraja say yes, but like if you go with the fatwa of say Sistani, for him heart is central. He says that even if the brain is dead, but heart still beating, then the life continues and you cannot stop the machine. And for him, this is the center of life. But we are talking about Quranic qalb, Quranic heart, which is not about this physical, although it is very important. It's the base of our physical life. But when it comes to a spiritual life, if you go through all those 150 verses in the Quran, none of them is about this physical heart. All of them talk about spiritual heart as the center of our soul. Of course, that is related to our physical, because if we don't have physical life, we are dead and we cannot act even spiritually anymore. But when the Quran speaks about al-qalb, يقصد المركز للحياة الروحية. And when the Quran talks about qalbun salim, it means قلوب يعقلون بها. If heart is the center of reflection, it's about the heart that is manifestation or the manifest of God's declaration of faith. أولئك كتب في قلوبهم الإيمان. When our heart is manifesto of that heavenly spiritual declaration, al-Iman, then that is the heart that we are talking about. Also, the verse in Surah Al-Hujurat, امتحن الله قلوبهم للتقوى. The heart is salim, is healthy and peaceful if can pass the test of piety. And in another chapter, ألا بذكر الله تطمئن القلوب, when heart is confident, feeling the presence of Allah through the remembrance. ألا بذكر الله, the remembrance represent the presence of God in your heart. And since the Quran is kitab al-dhikr, then when you tadhkur Allah, you remember Allah in your heart, then your qalbuka qalbun Qur'aniyun, like Quran is in your heart, because Quran means remembrance, to remind us. And since Quran is kitab al-shafa, so that dhikr, that remembrance, brings healing and harmony to your heart. So yes, qalbun salim means مركز الذكر, مركز القرآن, مركز الشفاء, مركز الرأفة, مركز الرحمة, مركز الخشية, مركز الخشوع, مركز السلام والسكينة, مركز الفقاهة, مركز المسؤولية. It's interesting. إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا. If your heart is a responsible heart, is not a reckless but responsible heart, then that is peaceful. If the heart is like heart Ammar Yasir, اطمئن قلبه بالإيمان. He was the son of Yasir and his mom Sumayya. Yasir came from Yemen. They settled in Mecca. And the mushrikeen, realizing that Yasir family, they are Muslims now, they started torturing them. And to the point that, first of all, the Prophet admired this family coming from Yemen, said, أَتَاكُمْ أَهْلُ الْيَمَنِ هُمْ أَرَقُّ أَفْئِدَةً وَأَلْيَنُ قُلُوبًا. The people of Yemen are people with soft hearts and wisdom and faith. Al-imanu yamanin wal-hikmatu yamaniyya. And may Allah save Yemen, Ahl Yemen, from this war and corruption of this corrupt Al Saud family, that they are attacking these people with good hearts and good faith. Ammar is the son of Yasser, and Yasser came from Yemen and settled in Mecca, and under so much torture that the Prophet saw them one day and he said, Sabran lakum ya ala Yasser, you are rewarded bil Jannah with your patience. So there was a day that also they took Ammar, أخذوه المشركون فعذبوه عذابا شديدا وأجبروه أن يكفر بمحمد. They sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they tortured Ammar Yasser to leave his faith and to say good thing about the idols in Mecca. So under pressure and under torture, he يذكر أصنامهم بخير, but he was so sad that this happened against his will. He was really faithful. So right away فذهب مسرعا إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وهو يبكي. Right away he left and he visited the Prophet, and he was crying that, Ya Rasulullah, they tortured me and they forced me to say the things that I didn't mean it. It was not from my heart. They forced me to admire their idols. At this time, the Holy Prophet said, Ya Ammar, كيف تجد قلبك? What did you feel in your heart? Said, obviously, Ya Rasulullah, قلبي مطمئن بالإيمان. My heart is full of faith in God and in your mission. فقال صلى الله عليه وآله إن عادوا فعد. If they did the same thing, you do the same thing. Don't worry, because your heart is full of faith. You shouldn't be worried about the fact they force you to say with your tongue something that you did not mean it by your heart. That is the taqiyya, by the way. So it's not a Shi'a issue. This is a Sunnah issue. This is part of our tradition. At that time, the verse was revealed to the Holy Prophet, إِلَّا مَنْ أُكْرَهَ وَقَلْبُهُ مُطْمِئِنٌ بِالْإِيمَانِ. So basically Allah is telling us, everything is about your heart. Because even if you do good things, but the intention is not there, you don't receive the credit. And if you are forced to say something that you don't believe, but your heart is full of faith, you don't miss the credit. So this is the qalb Qur'ani, the Qur'anic heart. But of course not every heart is like that. Not every heart is heart salim. So many verses in the Quran, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ مِنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. There are some hearts that they are so hard, they are so stony. There is no softness, they are not gentle. فَهِيَ كَالْحِجَارَةِ أَوْ أَشَدُّ قَسْوَةً. There are some hearts that they are harder and harsher than a stone, because even a stone may open up and provide you with water. But there are so many hearts that there is no hope in those hearts at all. There is a verse in the Quran, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. If this Quran was revealed even to the mountains, would make the mountains humble. But there are some hearts that they are worse than stones, that this Quran was revealed to them, but they get not humble. سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. Doesn't matter how much you remind them, they are not going to change, because they are totally locked. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها. There are locks on their hearts. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah is telling us, خَتَمَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. There are certain hearts that they are makhtum, totally closed. In Surah Al-Nahl, he says, تَبَعَ اللَّهُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. Not only خَتَمَ اللَّهُ, but تَبَعَ اللَّهُ means put a seal on their heart. It's closed already, but you put another seal and it make it totally close. In Surah At-Tawbah it says صَرَفَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. It's totally turned off. There is no light in it at all. صَرَفَ اللَّهُ, deviated. Is absolutely dark. In Surah Al-Isra, وَجَعَلْنَا عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ أَكِنَّةً. It's not only is closed, it's not only there is a seal on it, it's not only that the light is turned off, but it is akinna, means it's totally under cover. It's covered 100%. There is no way that oxygen can go in or any blood comes out. It's totally covered. In Surah As-Saf, أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُمْ. Azaga means it's totally contaminated. It's totally changed. It's not a heart anymore. You cannot call it heart anymore. It's something else. So this word in the Quran, khatama, taba'a, sarafa, azaga, these are all characteristics of those people who the Quran says, fi qulubihim marad. 12 times, by the way, 12 times in the Quran, this term of fi qulubihim marad, there is sickness, there is illness, there is virus, there is disease in their hearts. It says it 12 times in the Quran. What kind of disease? I went through all these 150 verses and I chose really this very brief because we don't have time. في قلوبهم العجل. There are people that in their heart there is calf. They are worshipping. There is ajl is inside. في قلوبهم زيغ. Inside, if you open their heart, is total corruption, total crime. قلوبهم في ريبهم. There is no clarity, is dominated with doubt. نفاقا في قلوبهم. Their heart is full of disease of hypocrisy. قلوبهم منكرة وهم مستكبرون. Heart is full of arrogance. لاهية قلوبهم is full of lahv, diversion and distraction. There is no focus. There is no vision. There is no direction. قلوبهم في غمرة means their heart is dominated with darkness, is total night. There is no hope of daylight. فإنه آثم قلبه, the sickness of sin and wrongdoing. في قلوبهم الحمية, حمية الجاهلية. Wow. If you look at their heart, is heart of Hamiyatul Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance with idol, and you can see stubbornness, you can see filth and foolishness. This is how sick their heart. في قلوبهم مرض فزادتهم رجسا إلى رجس. Wow. If you look at their heart, it's full of najasa. Their heart is najas, is so filthy, to the point that fi nar jahannam, they don't deserve anything except go to hell and stay there forever and ever, because there is no place with this kind of heart in heaven. No way. One of the sources that I checked for this, after going through all the Quranic verses and so many ahadith that I don't have time today to go to the ahadith. Inshallah next week we can go how we can provide life to our hearts and make our hearts alive, and ahadith give us good prescriptions. But one of the sources was the book of Awaken the Pure Heart. Our dear brother, Dr. Talal Turfa, Haj Talal Turfa, in addition to many other services and many other good books that he wrote, this book about heart, 170 pages. Please take it. We have some copies here. He donated some copies to House of Wisdom. But if you want to pick up, give a little donation to House of Wisdom. And read it. One of the problems in this world, among Muslims, we are not excluded, is that we don't read enough. We don't read a lot. And when you go through this book, 170 pages, you can spend like 3 hours here, 4 hours here. Believe me, in 1 week, if you just have some extra time that we are wasting it, we can read one book. And that's very, very beautiful. One of the things that Hajj Talal says in this book, he says, النظافة من الإيمان is not only نظافة بدنية. That the Prophet said that cleanliness is part of your faith, but it's not just we wash our hand only, although which is very important. Now the final thing that this coronavirus, they are telling us, is just wash your hand. 1400 years ago, the Prophet said, anytime you want to pray, you want to go to mosque, wash your hand, even make a ghusl, wash your total body. It's very, very important. But more important than cleanliness of our body, physical cleanliness, is the spiritual cleanliness. By the way, now there are lots of media and propaganda about this coronavirus. And remember that based on what CDC itself told us, even in this country, in the last 3 months, over 40 million people, they went through flu, and many of them went to the hospital. In last 3 months in United States, between 16,000 to 41,000 people died because of influenza, because of flu. My goodness, how many people died out of coronavirus so far? 2,800, yeah, in China and everywhere. But in this country, and China is 1,400,000,000 population, right? In our country of 330 million population, at least 16,000 people died because of flu in the last 3 months. This is what CDC is telling us. We don't know still a lot about this situation is going on. What part of it is health, part of it is politics, part of it is business, part of his money, part of his greed, part of his propaganda. So many things going on that you know, I know, and we don't have now time to go through it. But the point is, in this book, Awaken Heart, we learn that the most important thing is النظافة القلبية قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. التزكية that Dr. Talal discusses in this book is the science of transformation of making qalbun salim. If you want to make a qalbun salim, التزكية طريقها التزكية. The path to make a peaceful heart is purification of heart. And then he mentioned those 3 very famous 7 diseases, 7 signs of sickness, like arrogance, anger, envy, greed, gluttony, temper, sloth, and providing 7 solutions: humility, generosity, diligence, patience, kindness, purity, temperance, as a solution for those 7 deadly spiritual sins. And then he had a discussion about the disease of ignorance in human hearts, the disease of pessimism, the disease of hypocrisy and hatred, the disease of xenophobia. You know, xenophobia is a big disease in this country and everywhere in the world now. Those white supremacists, white nationalists in the United States, Now go to Israel, the Zionism. Zionism is not Judaism. Zionism is a racist ideology like xenophobia. It's a racism. You go to India these days, this Hindutva, they are different from Hindus. Hinduism is a religion. But now these Indians who claim Hinduism, but they are like white nationalists in this country, that they are using Christianity, but they are violating the principles of Christianity. The same thing those extremists in India, they were killing the Muslims while President Trump was there. And he didn't even mention it. 30, 40 people were killed the same day that he was there. And he didn't say one word. Because unfortunately, he always supports extremism, whether here or in Palestine, or whether now in India, anywhere. And that is horrible. That xenophobia is one of the amrad al-qalbiyya. This is ignorance. This is the disease in human soul. That how you can say that I'm better than somebody else? And this racism, this hatred, and this hypocrisy, this is a contamination of human soul. So the Quran talks about al-nifaq, al-akinna, al-hamiyya, al-jahiliyya, al-qasawa, al-qalbiyya, rijsan ala rijs, al-inkar, wal-istikbar, al-raib. All of these are fi qulubihim marad. These are the viruses, more dangerous than coronavirus, because coronavirus, only one guy in California confirmed, right? Only one case in America. And now Wall Street is already collapsing and everybody is worried about what's going to happen. But then we have all this qulubuhum marad, all this ignorance and arrogance and xenophobia and racism and hatred and hypocrisy and warmongering. All this disease, nobody is talking about that. Which one is more dangerous then? That is spiritual disease, brothers and sisters. This is why we don't see that much empathy in our world, that much compassion. We don't see this solidarity, this unity, this love, this responsibility. Where is it? Look at Yemen. Look at Syria. Look at Libya. This Erdogan now is Khalifatul Muslimin, he is a new Khalif. What are you doing in Libya, Mr. Erdogan? Why you are bothering in Syria and killing people and attacking people in Syria? This disease. And some simple, foolish Muslims, they think that Erdogan, he is a savior. He is looking for oil in Syria, oil in Libya. All is about stealing, all is about money, all is about domination, all is about oppression and crime. في قلوبهم مرض. The same thing you see in Gaza. The same injustice. You look at the situation in Iran now. I mean, flood is not enough, earthquakes is not enough. 80 million people under sanction in the last 40 years, and especially the last 3 years, is not enough. Now there is this virus, coronavirus, all this propaganda, and the way they talk looks like Iran made it. Like, you know, they're using all this sanction more and more. Nobody should go there, nobody should live there. And under this sanction, they cannot receive even a basic medication. But of course they are smart, they have initiative, and they are a nation of creativity, that despite of all this pressure, they keep their pride, they keep their dignity and integrity. I was laughing when President Trump was visiting Taj Mahal in India. I remember that a few months ago he was saying that we are going to target like 50 cultural sites in Iran. I said, I wish somebody would tell him, Mr. President, this Taj Mahal was built by the Iranian architect. The Iranian architect, they planned Taj Mahal. and you are visiting a grave of an Iranian lady, that Taj Mahal or Mumtaz Mahal. She was the queen, she is the wife of one of the Indian kings. That when she died, based on her wasiyah, her husband made this Taj Mahal in her memory. Her grave is there, the mosque is there. So this is one of those 7 international wonders. You know, in 2007, that there are more than 200 worldwide, global, cultural and religious sites. And they asked people of the world to vote. And in a process of 6 to 7 years, when they calculated all votes, they chose 7 wonders in the world. And one of them is Taj Mahal, that is based on the grave of Iranian lady by those architects that they came from that country. So there are people over there that despite of all this Shi'ab Abi Talib that they made out of there, it's very hard. Really, I was talking to my sister yesterday, and I know how hard life is there at this time. But when you have this faith, this determination, this discipline, when you have qalbun salim, when your heart is working, where your soul is alive, so no matter how much imtihanat and how much test and how much pressures, you can still survive, and you can say what Allah says, وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلَبُونَ. Inshallah, in next week, if you get a chance to go through the ahadith. We focus on the Quran today and last week, but this is something, brothers and sisters, that إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. On the day of judgment, it is not our children, our property, our position, our prestige, our popularity. No, none of this mean anything. إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهُ, except those who come and meet with the Lord and their heart is salim, their heart is healthy, their heart is faithful, their heart is peaceful. And may Allah make us ashab qalbin salim, ambassadors of peace, as Reverend David is in our congregation, and we welcome him that he was with us in South Korea, in Seoul, when we had this international 5,000-6,000 people from all over the world. They came to talk about peace. And I said even in that conference that international peace, brothers and sisters, start from your heart, from your family, from your community. Peace starts from me. That means from my heart. If our hearts are peaceful, then our families, then our neighbors, then our countries, then our world. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asr inna al-insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Sadaqa Allahu al-Aliyyu al-Azim. Wa ila as-salati inna as-salata tanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Assalamu alaykum.